Welcome back to Phoenix Flavors. My name is Jay Vetter. I'm the executive chef here at Elon University. Today we are joined again by our registered dietitian and health and wellness manager, Jamie Martin. And it's the holiday season and it's time to eat a whole bunch of cookies. And Jamie is going to make it actually okay for you to have an extra cookie or four.
Absolutely, yes. So holiday baking is always something that gets everybody in the kitchen and gets them around the table. And it's always fun for all ages and sizes to get in there and help out no matter what the task is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some healthy swaps for your holiday cookies so that you can have that extra cookie at the
Still
end.
make them yummy though, right?
Yes, absolutely. It has to taste good.
I had one earlier and I can't vouch for it. So.
It does. It does. So today we're going to do gingerbread cookies, and they smell amazing when they're coming out of the oven. It makes the whole house smell wonderful. So we were really enjoying it in the kitchen earlier today. So the gingerbread man, I thought this was pretty interesting. So when I was looking up about the history of gingerbread, Queen Elizabeth I was the one who came up with gingerbread men because she had dignitaries come into her palace, and so she actually had her chef, cook probably back then, make a man to match each person. So they were decorated to look like them, which is pretty interesting. So that's where we get the gingerbread men. Yeah. So pretty cool. So obviously you can usually have other cookie cutter shapes, any shape that you like. Some kids like to pick out their own. If you have a favorite shape, if you like trains or anything like that, any shape works. But obviously for gingerbread, we all think of the gingerbread man.
Absolutely.
Right? So in any kind of cookie recipe, we're gonna have our dry ingredients and we're gonna have our liquid ingredients. So right here, I have some flour. So the first healthy swap is gonna be for some whole wheat flour, okay?
A lot of people go, oh, whole wheat flour, right? Again, I think it's come a long ways though, right?
It has come a long way. And a really great way to ease into it is doing half all-purpose flour and half whole wheat flour. Doesn't make it so heavy and dense, but also King Arthur is great. They've come up with a lot of really good flours now. There's pastry whole wheat flour, and so all of that has less gluten, so it's not quite as tough of a cookie. So that's a great swap. So always, if you want to think about, instead of sifting stuff, I'm kind of lazy in the kitchen sometimes. So that's where Mr. Whisk comes in hand. So what I have to add to my flour, so I do have half all-purpose, half whole wheat flour. We're gonna add baking soda, baking powder, and some salt. And obviously it says you wanna combine that, so just whisking it in there works really well. Now you're gonna see a little bit of that darker whole wheat flour in there, but it's not gonna overpower it to where it's gonna change the color too much. Gingerbread cookies are already brown, so this is a great
I guess that is a great recipe.
It is. It is such a great recipe. So then we're going to add our spices, everything we think of that's warm and cozy. Yeah. So we're going to add some ginger for a little bit of our spice. We're going to add some cinnamon in there. We have some clove. So clove is pretty strong. Yeah. So we're going to go real light on this one. It's not very much at all. I actually love
the smell and the taste of cloves.
Yes, yes, it's really good. And then this is weird. I know it sounds weird, black pepper. So weird, but it works, and you cannot even taste it. But it kind of brings out the spiciness of the ginger, which is really great.
Makes sense.
So we have all this together. We're just going to whisk this together to make sure we're all combined and good to go. Now this is great because you don't have to have a mixer. So honestly, if you're in a room or if, at home you don't have a mixer, this is something you can mix up and don't have to worry about.
But it is actually a great dorm room recipe, right?
Absolutely, absolutely great. And especially even if you're in your apartment and you don't have all the things that you need, it's great in there also. So
maybe we'll do a virtual teaching kitchen with you during the semester for the
students.
Yes,
that would be great. So then we have our liquid ingredients. So one of our changes in here, you could do coconut oil in place of butter if you would like. There is no difference in the fat content, so it's completely up to you to taste if you want to. I use butter in this, but coconut oil is an option. You just need to melt it, just like your butter. And then we have a couple of eggs in here because that's your binder in your cookie. And then the other change that most people don't think about is coconut sugar. So this is a little bit healthier for you as far as it has more nutritional value. It actually looks kind of weird. I don't know if you can get that, Casey, but it's darker. It almost looks kind of like brown sugar.
Right.
And it has a little bit of a coarser texture. So you do need to make sure you whisk this really well in there.
Flavor-wise?
Flavor-wise, it tastes pretty much the same. It's got a little bit of a coconut flavor, but it does actually have a lower glycemic index.
Okay.
And that means that it doesn't spike your blood sugar quite as quickly. So this is good option for you.
Great tip. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to whisk this together. All right, so you see that we got this luscious. And then we also have molasses in here. So obviously we smell that molasses in there. That's always in a gingerbread recipe, gingerbread cookie.
And Casey, if you're following along at home and wanting to make the recipe, Casey will actually post this on our
Yes.
website, so you'll be able to go back and look on the website for the recipe.
Absolutely. And so there's two different options when you have molasses. So you have your regular molasses, and then we have blackstrap molasses.
Yeah.
I know some people don't think about that, but if you can find blackstrap molasses, it actually has a higher nutritional content because it's not quite as processed as your regular molasses. So that's another healthy swap you can do. So
I can already smell it in here and it hasn't even baked.
I know, it smells so good. And
So again, Jamie's new to campus. She's part of our dining team, and she's really here as a resource for the students or faculty and staff. Just again, if you have any questions, if you're having any food allergens and you want to help navigate the meal plan, navigate the dining hall, Jamie's a great resource. If you just want some advice like she's given today on eating a little bit healthier, Jamie's available. She can actually walk you around campus, introduce you to our chefs in the dining hall, and talk about anything you may have or you're facing. She's just really here as a resource and advocate for our students. So great addition to the team. I'm very excited to have you, Jamie.
I'm very excited to be here. All right, so you're going to keep mixing this until it all comes together, and we're going to separate it into 2 discs and flatten it out a little bit, and we're going to put it in the fridge to chill for about an hour.
An hour? Okay.
Yes, we always want our doughs to chill, even in like bread, which I know you guys have seen. Chef Adam, he was awesome. But we want it to rest so we can let those gluten, everything relax so that it's not such a tough cookie. Yep. So that's why we want it to chill. Cookies. No, not at all. Now you can chill this up to overnight. Okay. But it is going to be a little bit harder, obviously. So then you're going to want to let it sit on the counter at room temperature.
Yep, absolutely.
For about 30 minutes before you get to rolling. All right. So we'll be back to roll in just a second. All right. So we're back. So we have chilled our dough for an hour in the refrigerator, and I flattened it out to a disc and then wrapped it in plastic wrap. So it's been sitting out for just a few minutes just to get soft. And so what we're gonna wanna do is we wanna put some flour on our surface before we roll because we don't want anything sticking. So that's no fun. After you do all this work, you definitely don't wanna miss out on a cookie. So one of my tricks I like to do is I like to mix all-purpose with some powdered sugar. Just to add a little bit of sweetness, and you're not gonna dry out your cookie so much, okay? And there's a crazy technique that you do with doing flour, and it just, so if you think when you sprinkle, we've got like big pieces, right? So it's weird, but you just wanna kind of go from this side and spread it out. I know Chef Adam did this in one of his segments, but just to kind of explain your technique a little bit, because you get it covering a little bit better on your surface.
Actually, you let the kids do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They would love that. You might get in a flour fight with your roommate or something. That would be good too. So just sprinkle a little bit on top. All right, we're gonna take our rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you could always use like a mason jar or something like that that's flat, so if you don't have that. All right, so we're gonna roll out. So when you're rolling out, so we are having a little bit of cracking over here, totally okay, because as we work with the dough, it's gonna get warmer. And so first batch of cookies, it's kind of like that first slice of pie. It's always a little messy, but it'll get better as it goes, right? So
I don't mind the first slice of pie. I mean, the first one.
Or the last, yeah, either one. They're all good. So when we're rolling, we want to put even pressure, and then you're going to want to kind of go around in a circle so that you're spreading everything out to make sure that you're getting your dough out even. So you could use this technique when you're doing pizza dough, if you want to make some cinnamon rolls, anything like that. I prefer ones that actually roll, but some people use like the French rolling pins that don't have the rollers. All right, so we want to get this to about 1/4 inch thick. I like mine a little bit thicker because I like a softer cookie. Yeah. If you like a thinner cookie, you can always roll a little bit thinner. And then we have our iconic gingerbread man. Make sure you flour that bad boy so that it does not stick, because that would not be fun. Again, we don't roll these out on any cookies, right? All right, so one thing, you're gonna have a little bit of excess, and you wanna just try to knock that off a little bit. But we have a nice little gingerbread man, and we're gonna fill up our pan. You wanna make sure you always use parchment paper with cookies. Yep. Nobody wants a sticking cookie on there. And then if you spray your pan, it just doesn't work out. So parchment paper is great, and you can pick that up really easy, and you can use it for all kinds of things. We're gonna cut out some of our cookies and get them lined up, and then we're gonna get them in the oven.
Now these go spread, so spacing?
Usually they're not gonna spread very much, so I would usually, put them about 1 inch apart or so. They're not gonna go anywhere. This is the whole wheat, so it's not gonna spread anywhere. And we don't really have a whole lot of butter in this recipe, so it's not gonna spread.
Some of the health benefits from some of the exchanges you made?
So we're lowering the glycemic index with that coconut sugar. We're adding in a little bit more fiber with the whole wheat flour, which is good. Has a little bit more protein in it as well. And so every time you're rolling again, just think every time you roll again, you're going to develop a little bit more gluten in your dough. So you want to try to roll out as minimally as possible. So I always kind of press it down just a little bit before I get going with my rolling pin. And then we're going to go again. All right, so we're going to cut out a few more of these gingerbread men, and then we're going to stick them in the oven.
How long are we going in the oven for?
We're going to go in the oven for about 8 minutes.
At what temperature?
350 degrees.
350, nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we'll get these in the oven. All right, we are back. Our cookies are smelling amazing.
Yes, they are.
And
I'm
they
very
are ready to
excited.
come out of the oven.
Best part.
Yes, it is the best part.
You can't see the people behind the camera, and they're getting excited too. They
No.
can smell gingerbread. Nice.
All right, so we have our gingerbread man. See, they don't spread
No, really.
almost at all. So these cookies are great as they are, right?
Yeah.
But you could always, if you want to get creative, you can make a little powdered sugar glaze and put on it. You can sprinkle some powdered sugar, and this would be a great
Give them
addition.
little eyes. And,
Yes, you could give them eyes and little gumdrop buttons if you would like to.
Well, Jamie, we're excited to have you. Welcome to the team, and I know the students are going to benefit so much for you being on campus. We're excited to have you here, and for everybody out there, we can't wait for you guys to get back to campus. We're keeping ourselves busy right now, but again, we're just looking forward to the return of all the students, and we can share some of these amazing recipes with you guys on campus. Thank you.
Thank you.